Anything else?
I would also like to, I would, if you do decide to continue this meeting or call a new meeting for that May the 7th, I would request that we do that at noon if possible on that day, if that's not a problem. Right,
And I think that's too long for recess, and that's just my advice. So, because it's just a notice requirements if you want to get public input and all that.
Here again, I say, if we know we got to have a meeting, let's go ahead and call a meeting and then let it be ran. And we can always make a cancellation if it's necessary.
Because the notice is minimum on a special meeting, 5 days. Well, if you go ahead and
Put it now.
put it out there, then you're done, you're done.
Chairman, the striping and the chip seals on the first part of the 2-year plan roads, you gained update on that, now that we're past that. Was that May or was it April 1st we were waiting on?
April the 1st is the actual date, but I know they've been held up elsewhere, and I really, based on what they told us, I expected them to be back by now, and they're not. So I'm hoping any day this week they'll come back in.
Would you push on them for me, please?
I would.
Use me as a scapegoat. Let me know.
Yeah, we're ready to get it done too. We are.
What else you got, sir?
Well, I will say one more thing under that industrial access project. We also, when you meet, just to kind of let you know, we'll have the agreement for the resurfacing project, and then we'll have a revised or a supplemental agreement for the other IA project, where they're taking some of the funds out of that one, back out of that one. And then we will also have to do the CE&I agreement with CDG at that time. The state will not concur in their proposal until after the award, so it's impossible for me to get it to you any sooner than that.
Yeah, you'll have to make sure you give that to them again so we can have that on that one agenda, because that's the business we'll do for that special meeting.
And then another thing that we've got to look at is, and I'm sorry, I don't have the data that I need to give you exact numbers, but we will probably have to come up with some match to put with that project. We only have a little over $300,000 left in our federal aid balance. And before the new Rebuild Alabama Act passed, our thinking was to request an advance of next year's federal aid balance if we needed any more than that. Well, now that's not an option because there will be no more regular federal aid allocation. So at this point, I don't know enough about the new bill to know if they swapped the federal aid for the $400,000 in ST funds. I don't know if that will be available to us as I'm pretty sure it won't be as an advance, and it may not even be, as a sort of to secure a short-term loan so that if we could borrow the money and then pay it back with that. I don't know that will be an option, but just based on the preliminary estimates, we could have to come up. We could be responsible for coming up with around $250,000, $230,000, $220,000 or $30,000 to put with the federal aid and the IA money. But again, we won't know that until CDG does an analysis on the existing project that's under construction to see, and they got to get the pencil real sharp and find out exactly what it's going to take now to finish that job, considering all the underruns and overruns. And then, we also need to get the bid for the resurfacing project. We have no idea. All we have is a preliminary estimate at this point. So we need to wait until we get the low bid to determine exactly how much that's going to cost and what ALDOT's percentage will be for their indirect cost fee.
Why don't you go and reach out to Ken Austin and just ask him? I mean, surely we're not the only county in the state that was anticipating asking for an advance on our federal aid. I mean, I asked him at that road bridge class because there were some comments made about there was a short portion because the village just passed by what they were trying to sort out. Surely they've done through that enough. Fortune Street, I didn't tell him, hey, this was our original plan. How do you see us going to use Real Good Alabama Act to fill this gap and let them try to come up with a...
I will, and, you know, last time we talked to AlDOT about it, they didn't know, like you said, they just hadn't figured it out yet, so, but I'll reach out to them and see if that's an option, and I'll have to talk to McKinsey about other options too as we get closer to, we'll know more after Friday, after the letting, of course, and we'll just have to try to figure out what some options would be to come up with.
We'll have a week and a half between Friday and this special meeting.
So what, is there something in the bill that would make you think that ST money could be used to secure a short-term bond?
There was some wording in that road and bridge class.
Yeah, I mean, but I've read the bill, I don't read anything in there unless it's bringing some restrictions forward to the federal aid.
No, I'm not saying there's anything in the bill that would prevent it. What I'm saying is, I can't stand here and tell y'all that we can do that, because I don't know.
Because
I don't want to mislead you.
Sign an agreement until we know how to fund it. So, you know, I guess May the 7th, the meeting, we got to May the 6th to figure it out, because I can't vote to approve something that I don't know how we're going to fund.
Yeah, and right now, you don't even know how much money you're talking about. So, and that's why I'm just mentioning it, you know, just so that you're aware of it. And hopefully by that May the 7th, we'll have some accurate numbers for you.
Well, they gave us a path to get this done in their mind, and that has changed, so maybe we should, you know, they've got, should guide us through how to fill the gap with the
Anything else?
No, sir, that's all I had.
Anything down here? Anything else? Thank you, Russell.
Thanks.
EMA?
Good evening. I have a couple of announcements under new business and then one item under current business. This Friday, the 26th, we are going to do a groundbreaking ceremony at the side of the Mixville shelter. We'll be at 9 a.m. If you can be there, we'd greatly appreciate if you be there. Mr. Wright has agreed to be our MC for the program that morning, and so we will do that at 9 a.m. on Friday. It won't be a very brief session. Secondly, we were still compiling just a report from the tornadoes on Sunday a week ago. In regards to that, it doesn't appear that we're going to have enough damage to file for a declaration, disaster declaration for the state for that particular storm, but we are going to submit the information and see what we get if we do get anything. But we are still compiling that. But going from there, we did have a little damage in Goshen, but the majority of the damage was to the city of Troy. The runners not all the way to 3 Mile Street, the one Johnny May Ward and Nelson and Daily Drive, so path through there. Any questions about either one of those items? Under current business, the only thing we have tonight is the MOU that we presented at the last meeting with regards to hiring graduate student worker assistant with the EMA operation. We'd ask for you to review tonight and vote on it tonight if you would.
Anything for EMA?
Fred, I appreciate you giving us some phone and doing that. Information.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Alan, you got anything for them?
I don't have anything specific on my report.
Okay, under commission reports, we will have the executive session again at the end of the meeting for purchase or sale of property for general reputation and character. So we'll just go over like it usually does at the very end of the meeting. Any commissioner have anything to report this time?
before they step into the finance department.
Anything else? Okay, administrative report.
Okay, the first item I have up under the report tonight is EMA director, and that's from your direction last week on taking out the other district that we tried to work on, and just to work on what we're doing with the EMA director. And we'll just roll that down to current business. I won't ask for any action on that tonight. Next is the Lockheed Martin abatement request, and I do believe I'll let you all know they are asking that we go ahead and do something with this tonight so that they can move forward with their projects. So we've got everything together, all the resolutions and everything that we'll need for that project to move forward. I don't have any questions on that. The third is our commission accountant evaluation completion. I've got a memo in there. She actually completed her 6-month evaluation today. Everything's gone good, and I'm asking that she be classified as a classified employee. And that can roll down to current business. I'm not asking to check about on that tonight. The fourth thing is the phone system, battery backup for that. In your package, we've gotten some information. We reached out to PC Plus because we had, when the tornado happened, our telephone system went down at our jail. They were able to get things back up and running through E911. Not through the phone system. We had to do some other finagling and getting where they could get emergency phone calls, but they were not able to take just regular phone calls during the time of about probably 2 hours, hour and a half to 2 hours. I went down there, and one of the big problems is our backup electricity, the backup boxes that they have on there are not working for the size system that they are. So we went down there and looked at it and talked with our phone system, talked with Tor Cable that supplies the phone lines to our courthouse, and we reached out and got a quote from PC Plus on the battery backups. There are 2 prices listed on the end of the quote, one for the equipment that would be at the courthouse, and then there's also some optional things for the jail. We don't need these optional things at the jail. We think we can work with what we already have to continue to keep it up if the electricity goes down again. But there is a quote for a backup that would run those systems for a little under 4 hours based on what the power that they use right now. With some network cards so that they can be monitored. Right now, nothing's telling us when those systems go down, and this would send out some immediate emails and let us know if there's problems with needing more batteries in the backups and everything like that. And that price is listed in there at $3,836. I think we need to do something. We did when we thought the storms were going to be a little worse than they ended up being, thank goodness. Last Thursday night, we had worked out a plan with the city of Troy and E911. We had an option for what to do if they did go down. We would have about 15 minutes of run time to get somebody in place somewhere else to keep it going, but it's not a good situation to be in because it would take one of our correctional officers, our jailers, out of the jail during the storm if the electricity went down, but it would have worked for that time. So this is something that I wanted to look at going ahead and moving on and getting purchased. Any questions on that? Okay. The last thing that's not on your agenda, I received a letter today that I placed in front of all of you from Judge Bullen. He was not able to make it tonight, but he had an employee that he asked y'all to do a general leave of absence on back in December of 18. He is asking that we, in the general leave of absence, the employee is supposed to return to work on 4/26, which is this week. Don't know if it's going to happen or not, but we need to go ahead and end the general leave of absence request. And he's asking that you do so, and to go ahead and vote on it tonight.
I'm asking this question because I just don't know.
That's fine.
Do we not need to wait to see if do we know if there's a doctor's
The doctor's excuse is 3/4/26, and the reason we're coming to you for that, it went to a general leave of absence, which can be up to 12 months' time. We'd already met the FMLA, and then he came back and asked for additional, and our general leave of absence for our policy is up to 12 additional months. But under that, if you're not getting paid, you have to pay your insurances that the county would normally pay for you, and that, unless something happens between now and the end of the month, it's not going to get paid, and our understanding is it's not going to get paid.
That's it. Okay. All right. Thank you.
That's all I have under the administrator's report. Under current business, the CSX invoices, we are working on those, trying to get something together on those right now. Mr. Herb mentioned the MOU with Troy University. You do have a copy of that, and that's ready to be voted on. There is money that we could be used in the budget that we're not using currently for EMA that can be used to pay this fee of $7,500 twice a year. That's all I have on that. The seventh item is the DHR board appointment. This would be a representative from District 6. Mr. Raymond Stroud was the board member on there, and he has let us know that he does not wish to return to serve on the board. Next would be the Wiregrass RC&D Council board appointments, and I think y'all all discussed that. We discussed that at the last meeting. We just let it roll forward to current business so that can be voted on tonight. And that's all I have.
Any questions for the administrator? Thank you, Ken. Okay, the work session will now come to a close, and we will reconvene in about 12 minutes at 6 p.m. for our regular meeting.